Abbott was right about some things. I mean, don't tell me we're underfunded when misappropriation is present.
They take a drug called Soma, which is probably ecstasy, and they indulge in completely random or planned out orgies. Now, while that all sounds amazing, yet somewhat like the weekend at Diddy's house,
why would I want to belong to a party that takes pride in shedding innocent blood? Number one, as if that's not what God hates. Number two, as if there's not a black market for baby organs. And number three, as if abortion clinics didn't start in the hood. Because if you think Trump is bad, you should research exactly who Margaret Sanger was. But speaking of the black community,
I wanted to come down and speak on what I deem is a good steward of tax dollars. Now, originally I got that quote from the same council representative that thinks that men have cycles too, so can't quote her too often. I mean, imagine going over test scores from 3rd and 4th graders and then deciding to break ground on the next prison.
And I'm not a mad black woman, I'm a pissed off taxpayer. So if I don't have any say-so over the curriculum, if I don't have any say-so over the safety.
Imagine if the Rich Dad Poor Dad series was given to me instead.
Why would I want to belong to a party whose mission is to infringe on the Second Amendment as if a criminal would ever participate in something like a mandatory buyback?
We teach to a test that teaches us nothing. That STAR test does not align with reality outside of graduation. I mean, you graduate high school, you know nothing about how to do your taxes, let alone the benefits of corporate taxation. A good steward of tax dollars would have proposed that we house more of our first responders inside of city limits instead of bickering like a toddler during work sessions. I mean, honestly, you tried to make a big deal about us supposedly not losing an officer in the line of duty during your administration, yet when we lose yet another officer in the line of duty during your administration, you are nowhere to be found. Now, look, I don't care how you feel personally, but politically, as long as you hold a seat on this dais, you have a moral obligation to show up and show some respect for the soldiers of this city.
DallasCityHall.com reads, and I quote, "The superfan believes in building stronger neighborhoods." Well, I call cap because Ottawa doesn't even have sidewalks.
Would send personnel from that Department of Code Compliance and send them over to the Parks Department because the Parks Department is over the upkeep and the maintenance, the neglect of government-owned land. Imagine passing acres and acres of mismanaged, neglected government-owned land day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, year in and year out, term in and term out, just to trespass onto private property and emphasize the fact that you don't practice what you preach.
Why would I want to belong to and endorse a godless party? Because there is no such thing, and I mean no such thing as a trans child. We have confused children and sick, enabling adults.
Homeland is literally drowning, especially this past weekend. And the majority of the doors that I knocked on admitted that throughout your entire tenure here, they have never seen you knock on a door. And it should be mandatory for all of you to knock on every single door in your district.
While the public school system may have failed me, the cycle stops here.
And now I know all too well I am a full-fledged, hardcore conservative, and I'm proud of it. I mean, my favorite saying is I was born black, not Democrat.
Tone deaf. Tone deaf is the politest way that I can describe anyone who votes against this board.
What I noticed never change is Democrats' love for immigration and how they have always prioritized that over the black community. I mean, imagine every single Democrat leader helping you joke about what a black job is in 2024, exposing your ignorance on 1924 and how imperative the Immigration Act of that year was.
Now, don't get me wrong, as a woman of 28 years, I am extremely accomplished. I mean, I bust right through Maslow's pyramid, but I didn't need to read A Brave New World. I needed to create one.
I would love to talk about and emphasize that we are wasting energy on the STAR test. I would love to emphasize that trade should have never been taken out of schools. I would love to emphasize that what we learn in high school does not align with real life.
Do you ever block walk your district? Well, if you say no, you're a lazy incumbent. But if you say yes, you are a lazy incumbent.
I mean, I should have been given Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clausen, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright, What Would the Rockefellers Do by Gunderson, or The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Well, maybe not that last one, it's a little toxic.
I would love to emphasize that our kids, our students should know about credit, financial literacy, passive income, conflict resolution, gun safety, driver's ed, a step further, CDL training, infinite banking. But I don't have time. I don't have time to argue that due to passive reps like Trustee Dan. Or maybe we can blame the admin.
But it's not just Fort Worth ISD or Grand Prairie or Dallas ISD, it's the public school system as a whole that's failing.
I don't know, but what I do know is that I am forced to pay both Dallas and Fort Worth ISD thousands of dollars every single year, or my properties basically go up for sale.
You graduate high school, you know nothing about the 5 factors of credit right before you take out a massive student loan. Speaking of student loans, you know nothing about the calculations of DTI, unknowing that that's going to be used for your mortgage. Speaking of mortgages, you know nothing about construction, even though in the state of Texas, you don't even need a license to build. I mean, I would bring up the lack of knowledge surrounding government contracts or infinite banking or any of the auctions that we have, like the one we had this morning, but we even took driver's ed out of school. So I have no idea what we're doing. But back to my point, I said it once and I'll say it again. Student loan debt is one of the top 3 consumer debts in this nation, yet we still preach that you have to go to college to be successful, and that's not true. That's not true. But you see, I don't need student loan forgiveness. They'll get it back when I get it.
You won't even supply an elementary school sped class with a camera when asked to.
How was all reversed in 1965 with the Hart-Celler Act, how Congress refuses the advice of the Rockefeller Commission and the Hesburgh Commission, and how to this day they refuse to adopt the Barbara Jordan Blueprint, validating every single thing that Dr. Claude Anderson spoke of generally, but specifically what Mrs. King spoke of in 1991 with her letter to Congress. Now look, I'm not saying that the Republican Party is perfect.
Help Thy Neighbor is only popular on Sundays between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. But here I am in front of city officials, school board officials, county officials, state officials, federal officials who are good for nothing more than a few galas and photo ops, and sometimes they aren't even good at that. But Les Brown said that whatever we have to do to save our children, it's worth it.
Just like how y'all ignore LBJ saying, and I quote, "I'm going to have Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years, and by God, 60 years later, I see no sign of recourse, but..."
So let's do this great city some justice and set campaign donations aside and vote yes. Thank you, Council.
So sure, your vote is your voice, even if it is a whisper.
But I'm the one. I'm the one.
I'm the one, sir. You remember me, sir. I'm the one.